This channel supports Extra Life in its efforts to raise money for the Children's Miracle Network. For more information about how to donate and join in their efforts, go to the link displayed here. Extra Life. Play games, heal kids. What up, everybody? This is your boy Blak Magus, and this is some gameplay of The Division. The reason I'm using this is because it's a Tom Clancy game, and I've heard in several different videos based on this beta that this isn't a real Tom Clancy game. And the reason I'm doing this old gamer rant is one, just to really show you guys how fucking old I am. This damn rant is gonna make me feel very, very old, because it makes me think back to the Tom Clancy brand and what it was and what it has become in the minds of gamers. You know, at current time, when people see Tom Clancy on a game, a lot of people associate it with shooters, in particular the tactical shooter series Rainbow Six. I don't know how many people really remember that Ghost Recon, which is, I guess that fits too, because that's more of a third-person tactical shooter. But Splinter Cell as well, which is not really a shooter. Yes, you can shoot in it, but it's not a shooter, it's a stealth game. But that just shows like how there are kind of different facets to the Tom Clancy name, but not as much as it used to be in the past. And this is what this video is about. It's just how sometimes brands and things just change, and we end up associating them with particular things because at some point in time, one aspect of it decided to dominate the way we view it. You know, Rainbow Six, what was the name of the game? Damn it, I have this pulled up so I can remember exactly. But Rainbow Six Vegas kind of, you know, came at a time where shooters were on the rise. We were just at the beginning of the 7th generation of consoles, and 7th generation of consoles was totally dominated by shooters, especially first-person shooters. And Rainbow Six came at a time where, you know, everybody was high on them and they were well received. And I think that is where you get a lot of the people's feeling that that is the Tom Clancy brand. That is what it's all about. And you know, it's just weird being, you know, an older gamer, having seen you know, a lot of different games that were influenced by him. It just, you know, when I see people like, yo, this isn't a real Tom Clancy game. Tom Clancy wouldn't. This is, well, they wouldn't say Tom Clancy wouldn't, but they were like, this is the name that carries his brand. You know, this is a game that carries his you know, brand and all that. It's all about shooters, you know. And this is like, no. If you really like were around back when the name started to flash up, it really was. I mean, even Rainbow Six to a point wasn't the shooter that you thought it was. It was actually a mixture. It was kind of RTS / shooter, because in the beginning you kind of were able to play in a squad by yourself, and you would issue commands to the other people like you would issue commands to units in an RTS. In a way, it's like you would pick, you know, their destination, send them there, issue commands whether or not you wanted them to fire, whether if you just wanted them to like cover, things like that. That was how you kind of played the early Rainbow Six games. Um, Again, as time evolved and as we pushed forward to the 7th generation, they fleshed out to more of what first-person shooters were for that generation, where you can get together more than one person. And I gotta remember, could you do that in the first? I don't think you can do format squad. If somebody remembers, please let me know. I don't recall you being able to actually do four-man squads in the original Rainbow Six, but it was like very much like you would organize your plan of attack, and then you would issue the commands like, yo, go here, cover this door, all right, breach, boom, you know, execute. It was a mixture. Yeah, you could play with other people, but I still don't remember if you could. I had to look it up, but I still don't remember if it were like 4-on-4. I believe it were, because somehow I remember watching back before GTV turned into whatever it turned into, watching people play it on a competitive level. But it was like very much like a game that you play by yourself and do sort of like an real-time strategy game. I think that's one of the things that fascinated a lot of people back then, was like you're playing a shooter, but you're playing it RTS style by yourself in a way. It was very, very, very tactical, very methodical. You know, and he tended to stick with stuff that was like kind of RTS like, because he had games like In War. I remember this one game, what was it called, Politica or something crazy. I think it was Politica. It was like this. The only reason I remember this so well is because at the time he wrote a book based around the game while they were developing the game, and you got the game by purchasing the book. Like, and I'd never seen anything like that in my life. And it was funny when I started working at one particular place, and I actually saw them still selling that. I was like, yo, this is crazy. I was like at a bookstore, I think, too, when I did it. Was like it was something about Russia, like, and how they were going to take over the world. It was crazy, but that's the type of stuff he did, you know. And then there was the game Hawks that nobody really remembers, because I've never played it, but I heard it wasn't all that great. It was an air combat game, you know. So, you know, Tom Clancy brand used to have so many different levels to it, but once Ubisoft took it over, they pretty much gravitated to the more popular names. Not saying that the other stuff that I mentioned weren't good, but Rainbow Six was always the most popular Tom Clancy series in my mind. Splinter Cell coming second. Ghost Recon, you know, probably the one that I gravitated more to, because I remember when he used to talk about it and how like he based the idea off of stuff that the military did. Because back in the day when Tom Clancy was actually involved, people who may not remember this, but before Ubisoft took the brand, Red Storm Entertainment was a company that Tom Clancy helped form, and they basically used it as a playground for his different ideas and the information that he had, because he used to be like in the Navy or something like that. Navy intelligence, I think, what he used to do. And of course he had access to certain information. And Ghost Recon, one of the things they said was based off of things that the military were actually developing at the time when the game released, you know, stuff that they were trying out. And he would always do stuff like that, you know. He always the brand was always kind of based off of, you know, hey, this is something that could happen, like Rainbow Six. This is an idea that he came up with for an international strike team to take care of terrorists and other threats to the world, you know. So you would be fighting with French and American and Canadian and Spanish, and your soldiers were all over from all over the globe. That type of idea, so the Division kind of does fit because it's one of those wacky scenario things that he would come up with, like the end game to terrorism by putting out this virus. It actually fits more than people realize. That's the funny part about that to me. But it's still very understandable why people feel like this doesn't fit, because of how time and culture has changed the brand. It's Ubisoft has associated more with shooters than anything else, so it's really understandable, because I don't even think they put Tom Clancy Splinter Cell on the game anymore, whereas or at least people don't associate it that way. But Rainbow Six, they always associate with it, so it's understandable. I just found it interesting how people have totally forgot its roots, so to speak, in my mind. But anyway, I just wanted to talk about that with you guys. As always, feel free to hit me up, let me know what you think, and I'll holler at you later. It's your boy Blak Magus, and I'm out. Deuces.